Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's debate. My name is Ashni Weerasuriya and I am the chairperson, and Hayley Gill is the timekeeper. This debate will be judged by a panel of 3 adjudicators, who are Miss Jihan, Mr. Wood, and Miss Hirana. The topic of this debate is that big businesses should remain neutral on social issues. The affirmative team seated to my right is from Pembroke School, and the negative team seated to my left is from Trinity College. The speaking time for this debate is 6 minutes, with a double bell at the end of your speaking time. A warning bell will ring once at 5 minutes. A continuous bell will ring 30 seconds after the final bell. I now declare this debate open. I call upon the first affirmative speaker, Ruben Purcell.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Madam Chair. The topic for our debate is that big business should remain neutral on social issues. Big business refers to large and influential companies with significant resources and generally a global reach. Neutral, per Merriam-Webster, means not engaged on either side. By definition, you cannot remain neutral on a one-sided issue. Therefore, the scope of social issues in this debate is limited to any problems within society that have at least 2 major opposing sides. One-sided issues like poverty, homelessness, drug abuse, and human rights violations, where everyone agrees that these issues are bad, are not within the scope of this debate. We, the affirmative team, strongly believe that this statement is true. As first affirmative speaker, I'll talk about 2 key points. First, in authoritarian states, companies with a history of taking stances on controversial social issues can be coerced into supporting authoritarian regimes under the guise of social responsibility. Secondly, in democratic states, big businesses that take stances on social issues can exert significant influence on people and governments, leading to a shadow government effect. Our second speaker will talk about how social issues evolve, and a company throwing its full support behind a controversial cause on which they aren't experts can cause serious damage. She'll then talk about how big businesses remaining neutral preserves customer choice, preventing customers from getting entangled in ethical dilemmas. Our third speaker will rebut and sum up our team case. Now to my first point. In authoritarian states, corporate neutrality acts as a shield against undue influence and coercion from the regime. It's a different story for companies with a history of social involvement. The state can use this as a basis to coerce businesses into supporting its agenda under the guise of social responsibility. You might be thinking, if a state is truly authoritarian, can't they strong arm any company, regardless of whether it has a policy of neutrality? They can, but a lot of the time they just don't want to. Many authoritarian regimes wish to maintain the outward appearance of freedom, and a public struggle to turn a company into a puppet does not help with that goal. I'll give you an example. Bosch and IG Farben, 2 companies in Nazi Germany. IG Farben, a large chemical conglomerate, were highly socially involved pre-World War II. When the war broke out, the Nazis used this as a basis to co-opt IG Farben into the war machine. IG Farben shifted their focus from civilian to military applications and was so deeply involved in the war effort that some of the top leaders of the company were convicted as war criminals at the Nuremberg trials due to their involvement in the production of Zyklon B, a chemical used in extermination camps. Bosch, on the other hand, a large German engineering company, had a pre-war policy of neutrality and maintained its historical policy of neutrality throughout the war. They were never co-opted into the war machine and maintained a focus on civilian production throughout the war. To sum up this point, by remaining neutral on social issues, big businesses in authoritarian states protect not only themselves, but also broader societal well-being. Now to my second point. In democratic states, big businesses that get involved in controversial social issues begin wielding undue influence, leading to a shadow government effect. Large corporations have vast resources and vast power. According to the Fortune 500, the top 10 companies, just 10 in the US, have a combined annual revenue of $3.5 trillion US dollars. This is greater than the annual GDP of India and over double that of Australia. When a company's resources rivals that of an entire country, of course it can effectively lobby for its own interests. When a company takes a stance on a controversial issue, they aren't just expressing opinions for the sake of it. They're working to steer public discourse and policy to align either with the beliefs of the owners or with the company's own interests. Take a look at recent history. Coca-Cola lobbied against the public health initiative of soda taxes. ExxonMobil, a fossil fuel company, funded campaigns that spread doubt about the scientific consensus on climate change. Philip Morris and many other tobacco companies have a long history of lobbying against graphic warning labels on cigarette packages. Pharmaceutical companies regularly lobby against the US being able to negotiate the lowering of drug prices through Medicare. The list goes on and on. There are also examples where companies lobbied for the personal beliefs of their owners. Hobby Lobby, a multi-billion-dollar arts and craft retail chain, refused to employ employees with insurance coverage for contraception, in direct violation of the Affordable Care Act's mandate. CEO Steve Green argued that the act violated his personal evangelical beliefs. In 2014, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Hobby Lobby. Another example, Chick-fil-A CEO Dan Cathy publicly expressed his opposition to same-sex marriage, and under his leadership, the company donated millions of dollars to organizations that oppose LGBTQ rights. To sum up, as a business becomes more engaged in controversial social issues, it's a slippery slope to oligarchy, where corporate interests or the personal beliefs of a few very wealthy but unelected people dictate public policy. To preserve democracy and prevent undue influence over society, big business should remain neutral on social issues. In conclusion, in both authoritarian and in democratic states, neutrality protects corporate independence and the rights of the people. We affirm that big business should remain neutral on social issues. Thank you.
I call upon the first negative speaker, Charlotte Hobby McMillan.
Good afternoon, Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. The topic for our debate is that big business should remain neutral on social issues. We, the negative team, believe that this statement is false. We agree with the definitions given by the affirmative team. As first speaker, I will be discussing how big businesses have a moral obligation to use their voices for the greater good, due to their large influence on society. I will also be discussing how customers have the right to transparency from brands that they are buying from to understand what they are supporting when they purchase a product. Our second speaker will focus on how addressing social issues can enhance the overall profitability for big business and the impact this has on their long-term brand identity. Our third speaker will handle rebuttals and provide a summary of our team's case. The second speaker of the affirmative team has tried to tell you that big business should remain neutral on social issues to avoid controversy and maintain focus on profitability, and to use neutrality as a defence mechanism. However, this is wrong because neutrality itself can harm a business's reputation and profitability in today's socially conscious market. Consumers and employees increasingly expect companies to take a stand on social issues. Companies that appear indifferent can be perceived as aligning with the negative aspects of the status quo, which can lead to a loss of customer loyalty and difficulty attracting top talent. They also tried to tell you that neutrality can be used to hide in authoritarian states. However, most companies in our day and age are focused in first world countries, most of which are democracies. They reference Nazi Germany, however, that is not the current day and age that we live in. Now on to my first point. Large companies have an incredibly large influence on a wide range of people. They have the very unique ability to use their large platforms to speak out on social issues affecting the world. A company even just speaking out on an issue can help to bring the public's attention to it, and they can use their influence to bring good change on social movements. For example, according to an article from Raconteur published on July 22nd, 2020, the popular ice cream company Ben & Jerry's has been an outspoken advocate for the Black Lives Matter movement, calling out toxic institutional racism in business, government, and wider society, taking an unwavering position on social injustice. Ben & Jerry's have partnered with Colour of Change, a racial injustice organisation, and the Advancement National Project Office to create a new ice cream flavour called Remixed. The sale and promotion of Remixed helped to bring to light and highlight the inequalities of the US criminal justice system, with the proceeds from each sale going towards the Advancement Project National Office. And activism such as this has had incredible effects. According to an IMP article from the 23rd of May 2024, in 2018 they released the Home Sweet Honeycomb flavour, collaborating with the International Rescue Committee to promote the Together for Refugees campaign. This collaboration led to the brand being able to garner over 30,000 emails sent to various MPs across Europe, urging them to support legislation to help refugees safely settle into Europe. There are also several other ice cream flavours that Ben & Jerry's have released to promote social activism, such as the Save Us World flavour to promote climate activism, the I Do flavour to support the American Supreme Court's recognition of marriage equality, and the Empowerment flavour in celebration of the anniversary of the Supreme Court's ruling against segregation in schools. Not only this, but Ben & Jerry's have continued to work towards solving racial injustice. According to the same Raconteur article from July 2020, they've also supported the Close the Workhouse Coalition, an organisation aiming to bring an end to the money-based bail practices in the US and advocating for the closing of Workhouse Jail in St. Louis, infamous for its poor living conditions and human rights violation, with over 90% of its prisoners being people of colour. Ben & Jerry's helped to repeatedly support the organisation by sponsoring events and supplying free ice cream, and raising awareness through their social media and advertisements. Ben & Jerry's have stated that their commitment to stand on social issues is turning their fans, who may come to their platform for ice cream, into informed social activists, driving them towards a call of action. As shown, companies can use their large influence to bring about positive change and can inspire people to take a stand on social issues. Now on to my second point. A brand's transparency and standing on social issues is incredibly valuable to both their customer base and their employees. Companies should be open and honest about their business practices and stance on certain issues. According to an article from Classy published on the 11th of April 2023, a survey showed that 77% of consumers are significantly more motivated to purchase from companies committed to making the world better, and that 73% of working adults would not even consider applying for a business unless its values aligned with their own, with many stating the company's culture and making a difference in the world is more important to them than their salary. As clearly shown, a brand standing on social issues can have a significant effect on its target audience, driving more and more people to support their products for their transparency and their social standing. The demand for company transparency has become increasingly clear in recent times. Many brands may consider silence to be the safest option to choose. However, saying nothing and remaining neutral is still choosing a side. Desmond Tutu is an archbishop from South Africa who was well known for receiving a Nobel Prize for Peace in his role in opposition to the apartheid in South Africa. In 1986, he stated that if you were neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. Choosing to stay silent is itself a choice you make, and companies can't get away with being bystanders anymore. Consumers notice when a corporation stays silent on issues, and as stated previously, will be drawn to purchasing from companies transparent about their beliefs instead of sweeping them under the rug. Transparency on significant social issues is highly valued by consumers and employees, with brands who are open on their stance garnering more support than those hiding behind the guise of neutrality. Thank you.
call upon the second affirmative speaker, Isabella McEwen.
Good evening, Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. The topic for this evening's debate is that big businesses should remain neutral on social issues. We, the affirmative team, agree with this statement. I will begin with rebutting the opposition's points. The first negative speaker has stated that the Nazi regime and other authoritarian governments are irrelevant due to them being in the past. However, there are many countries today that are authoritarian: North Korea, Russia, China, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and more. You can't deny that authoritarian states exist and are therefore irrelevant. They have also tried to say that businesses have a moral obligation to address social injustices. However, in the case of controversial two-sided issues, as agreed by a definition, it is challenging to determine which side is truly just. What seems morally correct today may be judged differently tomorrow, and what one person thinks is morally correct, another might consider reprehensible. By remaining neutral, businesses avoid the risk of taking a stance that could be viewed as misguided or harmful. Think about the International Red Cross, a humanitarian aid organisation. In World War II, the company maintained strict neutrality, which was respected by both Axis and Allies. The organisation fulfilled its moral obligation to provide humanitarian aid to those in need, while simultaneously remaining neutral on controversial issues. Neutrality in controversial issues allows businesses to contribute positively in areas where there is consensus, without overstepping their role in society. Our first speaker has covered the risk that big businesses have of coercion in authoritarian states. Second, in democracies, companies risk influencing policy. Today, I will be talking to you about 2 points. Now to my first point. A business's obligation is not to take on social issues, but, as the World Economic Forum states, to provide the goods and services people need or want. A corporation, by definition, lacks a unified opinion, as an entire organisation cannot share the same view. Engaging in social or political issues diverts resources and focus away from these core objectives. Businesses can cause significant harm by involving themselves in social issues without the necessary expertise, as social norms and issues are complex and unpredictable. Some may say that companies should address issues like LGBTQ+ rights, but this approach can quickly backfire. Let's look at a few examples. As our first speaker has said, the CEO of Chick-fil-A publicly opposed same-sex marriage, aligning the company with a specific social stance. This decision led to widespread protests and boycotts, angering many in our community. Where does this end? In America, Jack Phillips, owner of Masterpiece Cake Shop, refused to bake a wedding cake for a same-sex couple, according to the Human Rights Law Center. This blatant discrimination is a micro-example of a business pushing a social agenda unrelated to their product, leading to a conflict with social policy. We agree that social issues need addressing, but this is the role of organisations specifically designed for it. Businesses are not voted in by the community. They do not have the mandate to pursue social issues. A business's expertise lies in their respective areas, not in social advocacy or policy making. Moral obligations are for our governments, who are representative of our population, or designated institutions like the UN, who are specifically tasked with addressing social injustices. They have the mandate to represent the population. And this leads me to my next point. If companies address social issues, there is a risk of alienation from key stakeholders. A CNBC study shows that 58% of consumers find it inappropriate for companies to engage in social issues. Consumers prefer to focus on a product's value over brand ideologies and are fatigued by political debates, with 47% saying they would boycott a brand for taking a controversial stand. A car should appeal to a broad market, regardless of their beliefs. When a company takes a stance on a social issue, it creates market segmentation unrelated to the product. Let's look at Budweiser, a global beer brand. Last April, their partnership with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney aimed to align the brand with a social cause. This move led to backlash from conservatives and disappointment from LGBTQ+ advocates due to Bud Light's lack of a strong support for the partnership. Despite admirable intentions, the outcome was negative, declining sales, a damaged reputation, and dissatisfaction amongst stakeholders. Efforts to recover have yet to succeed. This is what, as I've mentioned in my first point, happens when businesses act outside of their mandate. They lack the expertise to handle such issues and can cause more harm than good. Businesses taking social stances sends the wrong signals to product development and innovation. People are now having ethical dilemmas when they have to choose between the best product or the one that has the right beliefs. A person buying a shoe surely wants it because of its comfort, colour and design, but now they must navigate social debates or the fear of judgment for representing a cause that a shoe is associated with. Purchase decisions should be made based on the ability or standard of the product, not the beliefs an inanimate product has. Do you see the UN supporting a random t-shirt brand that has no significance to them? If a corporation is global and wants the right to operate in multiple countries, then it needs to respect the norms and cultures of those countries. It should leave the governments and institutions of these countries to set social policy because they represent the people. So, Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, we, the negative team, strongly believe that businesses should stay neutral on social issues. As a society, do we really want profit-seeking global corporations setting social policy for our local community? Corporations are not created by the people, they are not mandated by the people, and they are not governed by the people. They should, therefore, not be setting social policy for our people. Thank you.
Sneaking.
I call upon the second negative speaker, Shaylin Vogel.
Good evening, Madam Chairman, esteemed guests. The subject for today's debate is that big businesses should remain neutral on social issues. As the negative team, we assert that this statement is incorrect. The second speaker of the affirmative team has tried to tell you that businesses lack the expertise to effectively address social issues and should therefore avoid involvement. However, this is wrong because businesses can and should leverage their resources and influence to contribute positively to social issues. Companies often employ experts in various fields who can provide valuable insights and strategies for meaningful engagement. Additionally, businesses can collaborate with non-profit organizations and community groups to address social issues in a way that aligns with their expertise and goals. They also said that staying neutral allows businesses to avoid alienating any stakeholders and focus solely on their core operations. However, this is wrong because inaction on social issues can alienate a significant portion of stakeholders. Many consumers and employers prefer to engage with companies that demonstrate commitment to ethical values and social responsibility. By taking a stance, businesses can build stronger relationships with their stakeholders and differentiate themselves from competitors. Furthermore, actively addressing social issues can contribute to a more positive and inclusive workplace, ultimately benefiting the company's overall performance. Our first speaker has already stated how big businesses are morally obligated to speak about social issues due to their large influence. Today, I will be discussing two key points: how addressing social issues can enhance overall profitability for big businesses and the impact that this has on their long-term brand identity. Now to my first point. Businesses engaging with social issues can drive profitability and positively impact shareholders. Engaging with social issues can enhance a company's brand reputation, attract a loyal customer base, and ultimately lead to financial gains. By aligning with causes that resonate with consumers, companies can separate themselves in a competitive market. According to The Guardian, in 2018, Nike featured Colin Kaepernick, an NFL player known for kneeling during the national anthem to protest racial injustice, in a high-profile ad campaign with the tagline, "Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything." Following the launch of this campaign, Nike's stock price rose by 5% in the following week, and the company experienced an increase in sales. This surge pushed Nike's market value up by $6 billion. Despite facing some backlash, the campaign successfully increased sales and strengthened brand loyalty among younger, more progressive customers. Nike's alignment with social justice issues resonated with a significant segment of the market that values corporate social responsibility. translating into higher sales and market share. This evidence supports the claim that engaging with social issues can be profitable. Nike's decision to feature Colin Kaepernick, a controversial figure, was a strategic move that, despite initial conflict, led to substantial financial gains and an enhanced market position. The increase in stock price, sales, and overall market value illustrates how aligning with social issues can help in raising awareness and also translates into tangible economic benefits for the company. This example shows that businesses can leverage social issues to build brand loyalty and improve their financial performances, demonstrating the positive impact on shareholders. Now to my second point. Discussing social issues can significantly enhance a company's long-term brand identity and boost customer loyalty, offering big businesses a strategic advantage in today's market. Lush, a well-known cosmetics brand known for its stance against animal cruelty, is an amazing example of this strategy. Lush has built its brand identity around ethical practices and animal welfare. According to The Ecologist, on April 25, 2012, Lush launched a campaign against animal testing to mark World Day for Laboratory Animals. Its commitment to not using animal testing and supporting animal rights has created a loyal customer base that values these principles. This commitment has led to strong, consistent customer support and sales growth, as consumers continue to choose Lush for its ethical stance. Lush's focus on animal cruelty has effectively reinforced its brand identity and built significant consumer trust. By maintaining a clear, values-based stance, Lush attracts customers who prioritize ethical considerations in their purchasing decisions. By aligning with social issues such as animal cruelty, companies like Lush not only enhance their brand identity, but also build lasting trust with consumers. This strong brand identity and customer loyalty has contributed to a sustained business success and reinforced the earlier argument that engaging with social issues can drive profitability and positively impact shareholders. So, Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, we believe that companies should be actively speaking out about social issues if they want to raise their profits, achieve a long-term brand identity, and build trust with their customers. Because what more does a company want than to thrive financially while maintaining a positive impact on society? By aligning their values with the values of their customers, companies not only secure their place in the market, but also contribute to a more engaged and equitable world. Thank you.
I call upon the third affirmative speaker, Tanya Sureshkumar.
Good evening, Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. The topic for our debate is that big businesses should remain neutral on social issues. We, the Affirmative team, strongly believe this to be true. Now to my rebuttal. The first negative speaker argued that silence on social issues equates to complicity. However, this is only relevant for one-sided issues where neutrality isn't possible, and therefore aren't considered in the debate. Our debate concerns controversial two-sided issues where remaining neutral respects the diversity of opinion. Just as not endorsing a political candidate doesn't imply support for the other. Neutrality in these debates is about recognizing that businesses normally aren't in a position to declare what's right or wrong on complex issues. The second negative speaker suggests that social responsibility drives long-term profitability. However, when it comes to controversial issues, taking a side is risky and irresponsible from a financial perspective. What may seem like the right stance today might not hold up in the future. potentially harming the company's profitability. Neutrality, on the other hand, ensures that businesses stay focused on their core mission, creating a long-term success without getting too sidetracked. Long-term profitability also does not equate to temporary share price increase. The second negative speaker also suggests that consumers are more likely to support companies that share their values. But in the realm of controversial two-sided social issues, who decides which side is right? Consumers are diverse, and a stance that appeals to some might repel others. Furthermore, I'd like to ask you a question. If you were buying a mattress, what would you look for? Comfort, size, durability, cheapness? Or if the mattress's company has a public stance on some controversial issue? It's ridiculous to assume that consumers will boycott a company for being neutral. What's not ridiculous to assume is that consumers might boycott a company that expresses controversial opinions. The second negative speaker also argued that large companies have the resources to drive social change. However, these resources should be focused on areas where there is a broad agreement, not on controversial issues where opinions differ. In such cases, neutrality is prudent, as it allows businesses to avoid making potentially divisive choices. Instead, companies can use their resources to innovate, grow, and contribute positively in universally beneficial ways. Getting caught up in the debates over which side, without getting caught up in the debates which is right or wrong. The first negative speaker also argued that ignoring social issues can harm a company's reputation. However, neutrality in controversial issues actually protects a company from potential backlash. When businesses take sides in divisive debates, they risk alienating parts of their customer base. By staying neutral, companies focus on what they do best, delivering quality products and services, without getting entangled in debates where there is no clear right or wrong. The first negative has also argued that employees prefer working for socially responsible companies. However, it's crucial to differentiate between one-sided issues where there is a societal consensus and two-sided controversial issues. You can be socially responsible without expressing controversial opinions. For these complex issues, determining the right side is subjective and can vary greatly among employees. By remaining neutral, businesses avoid taking a stance that could alienate portions of their workforce, ensuring a more harmonious and inclusive environment where diverse views are respected. The second negative speaker has also claimed that social activism can build brand loyalty. Yet, in the context of controversial issues, activism risks alienating customers who disagree. Who's to say which side is the right one? Businesses that take a stand on divisive issues might buy some extra loyalty from half of their base, but completely lose the other half. By remaining neutral, companies can appeal to a broader customer base, ensuring that their brand remains strong and inclusive, not polarizing or controversial. The first negative speaker has also said that businesses can have a positive social impact. However, brand strategist Jeff Melnick argues that purpose-driven brands inherently create social impact by fulfilling their core mission and addressing real needs. According to John Mackey, CEO of Whole Foods, businesses do not need additional social initiatives to be socially responsible. By delivering value to their prime stakeholders, they inherently act in a socially responsible manner. Conscious businesses understand that their core mission naturally benefits society and considers all stakeholders, including communities and the environment, crucial to their success. Thus, by staying aligned with their fundamental purpose, businesses automatically contribute to societal benefit. Second speaker has also said that lush animal cruelty does not use animal cruelty. However, no one thinks animal cruelty is good, therefore the issue is not within the scope of the debate. Where the social issues must be are two-sided and controversial. To my summary, Our first speaker highlighted that companies with social stances can be coerced into supporting authoritarian regimes, and that maintaining neutrality can protect both company integrity and individual freedoms. He also warned that involvement in controversial issues could lead to oligarchy, where a few wealthy and unelected individuals control public policy. Ultimately, he argued to protect democracy and prevent undue influence.
I call upon the third negative speaker, Savannah Woodhart.
Good evening, Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. The topic for our debate tonight is that big businesses should remain neutral on social issues. We, as the negative team, strongly believe that statement is false. I will begin with my rebuttals. Firstly, the third negative affirmative team speaker has just tried to tell you that nobody believes animal cruelty is good. However, I would like to point to the fact that China, right now, as in its laws, will not allow products to be sold inside China if they are not tested on animals. This animal testing is considered animal cruelty. This could be considering that China is saying that animal cruelty is good. They have also tried to tell you that conscious businesses that remain neutral benefit society. However, a large amount of chocolate companies right now are using child labour and unpaid labour to make these chocolates. Their businesses are considered to benefit society through their products and what they make. They have also said that remaining neutral can stop businesses from alienating customers. However, I would like to point out that the businesses use a thing called target audiences, in which they specifically target a specific group of people who they think their products will sell well to. A design that someone may like next to you, you may not like. And you may not buy it because of that. However, the person next to you may want to buy it so much that they'll throw all of their money at this. This in itself is alienating consumers as a target audience. Social issues can do the same, but it can also build a company's target audience, and it's been found that consumers are more likely to buy from companies who their beliefs align with. If this is true, then the companies may as well be taking the risk to speak on social issues that they believe in. The affirmative team has also tried to tell you that purchasing decisions should not be based on what the companies believes in. However, consumers are more likely to buy from companies who their beliefs align with, and it's been found many times. 90% of consumers in 2023 admitted that they were more likely to buy from brands that they considered to be socially responsible. They have also tried to tell you that businesses that have involved themselves in social issues have had this backfire. However, as my first and second speaker have said and shown you, this has also been successful for many businesses. Business, just like real life, is messy and trends can change easily. Anything in business can backfire. A design, an investment, a product, anything. So they may as well be buying into these social issues and trying to be transparent with their consumer base. As I have previously said, customers will buy more from brands who their beliefs align with. Our first speaker has spoken to you about how big businesses also have big influence on society. As an example, they use Ben & Jerry's ice cream collaborations and how they have impacted and spread awareness to their customer base. The best example of this is an ice cream collaboration leading to the flavour honeycomb. This flavour was created to raise awareness for the Together for Refugees campaign. This flavour led to over 30,000 emails being sent to a variety of VPs across Europe that urged them to rally behind any legislation that could support refugees seeking safety in Europe. They also said that a brand's transparency and standing on social issues is incredibly valuable to their consumers and employees. According to a Classy article, a survey showed that 77% of consumers are motivated to support companies committed to making the world better, and 73% of adults would not apply to a business unless its values aligned with theirs. A demand has become clear in recent times, as while many brands consider neutrality to be the safest, Desmond Tutu, Nobel Peace Prize winner, has stated that if you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. Choosing neutrality is still choosing a side, and consumers are more motivated to be loyal to companies that actively show their intentions. Our second speaker spoke to you about how engaging in social issues can help enhance a brand's reputation. In this argument, they pointed to Nike, the famous shoe brand, and how they created ads and campaigns in support of the Black Lives Matter movement in America. This campaign has caused many fans of Nike to stand up and support the movement. Nike also managed to see a 31% increase in sales shortly after this campaign, showing how it impacted their brand. They also stated that engaging in social issues can boost a company's long-term brand identity and boost customer loyalty. They point to Lush as an example, a brand that is vocally against animal testing. This commitment to being animal cruelty-free has led them to having a very strong and loyal customer base. Aligning with a social issue helped this brand build trust with their consumer base. So, Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, we, as the negative team, believe that big businesses should not remain neutral on social issues because it will spread awareness on these issues and is good for their businesses. These businesses will have enough influence to do good in the world and encourage consumers to try to make a difference. They also, by making a difference, can build trust with their customers and build their brand identity, which will help them gain a customer base that better aligns with these issues and their beliefs. Thank you.
While the adjudicator finalises the results, you can all talk freely amongst yourselves.
It wasn't so trouble people couldn't do it, but everyone agreed the term that it was bad. Yeah. It's like a consensus. And then when people say like, is that cool? It was controversial. I was like, that's crazy controversial issue. And then they like always argue for more controversial issues.
Can you get the timing sheet as well? I wrote the times down.
In my opinion, strategy, like, I remember really watching the real one, they said they didn't really take one side forward, try and drive it over time, but they did because it was a tiebreaker. But like, even if they do take a couple of points, I think just like being able to actually go through every single point they made and then like, okay. And then usually when doing that was the second group. No, that didn't. I know, that's what I'm saying. Their first speaker, the second speaker, yeah, exactly. The second speaker of their team went overtime. The third speaker of their team went overtime. All of our speakers were overtime. And then so that's good. And but also after I checked, she said it was high. It's like after I checked. And then she said the other thing, I was like, huh, because you said it was going to be a tiebreaker. I was like, maybe she was counting it. And I looked up, and it was a tie, 264 total points each, so I was like, okay. She must have forgotten. I thought, yeah. Next meeting, we have to coordinate it on as many. So I'm just going to message this. Yeah, it's like that. But I literally just edited them just as I was. I come through them, document and edited them, at 4 p.m. today. And I got the problem was I got reports on the right. I kind of want to do this one, ESG, that you mentioned. Yeah, that's true. They also mentioned that they mentioned still 8 points at us, like briefly. I really hope they won't. I go to another team that beat us and we played today. Maybe if they did win, we end up winning. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, again. I think it's a strategy. It's just kind of like giving a definition that really favors us. And like,
We don't have that. Could someone run and grab it?
Yes. Do you want me to run and get it?
exactly.
Yes, just where the photos were.
Okay, should we do?
What's needed? Just
I think we need like contingencies for like definitions and updated and how to argue against it. Yeah.
Going on with the other group.
Oh yeah, because they said we agree with the definition, but we need to add this on.
Yeah.
So I think we need to say we disagree with the definition, or you could just be honest and just say, I didn't fully agree with the definition, I think we agree with it, but like... Because, oh my god, my dad, after the Assange today, I was like 100% sure they said Israel. They said it was in Israel. Then they were like, oh, no, it's in Israel.
Yeah.
My dad thought that it was mentioned Israel. I'm like, oh,
I had no choice. So both Charlotte, me, Ryan, Sebastian, all
well,
went
maybe, but my dad thought like they didn't mention it, I got mixed up, and I guess my dad didn't mention Israel.
Well, that's good.
Well, they also, the one that I didn't make, they said, she said, profitability, I didn't mention that. It doesn't matter, because they'll get voice notes after. Finally beat that team. That's good. I hate him so much. So no safety, no cops, which are the 2 main points. Water consumption, sustainability. Yeah. I had a good. Oh my god, I don't think last week. Yeah, she said. Right, the adjudicator, she said, really.
it makes sense.
I probably should. Apparently, like, it's so. Yeah, I wish we saw some content where it's like things that you make you see according to like whatever. And then she said, I didn't mention. See what? I didn't mention.
Yeah, just
pretty much. So you all the girls team and then me from the trap. When you're getting out for making reference. I now invite the adjudicator, Miss Jihan, to come forward.
I'll just speak from here so all teams can see me. First of all, congrats on making it to the quarterfinals of this year's season. You guys have done amazing. Both teams have done amazing, and the adjudicators tonight have come to a unanimous decision. Before I announce the winners of the night, I'll just like to award the Year 10 Division debate to the second affirmative speaker, Izzy. And with a small margin on all sides tonight, the win has gone to the affirmative team.
I call upon a member of the runner-up team to give a vote of thanks.
I'd like to thank our parents who have consistently taken us to debate, even though it's taken so long, and to the quarterfinals. I'm very aware it's late at night. I'd like to thank the adjudicators for giving out feedback, as always. It's very helpful for us. And I'd like to thank the negative team for your debate. It was very nice to debate against you. Thank you.
I call upon a member of the winning team to second that vote of thanks.
Yeah, we would like to second that vote of thanks. Thank you for everyone coming tonight. Thank you to our adjudicators. Thank you for Nazareth for hosting. And of course, thank you to the opposition for a great debate. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attendance. I now declare this debate closed.